Hello?
Hello.
Hello, everyone.
Hi.
Oh, hello. Oh, my
Hello.
goodness. Hello. It's Friday. Can you believe it? We made
Friday.
it. Hello. Well, welcome everyone to GutPunchRP, a tabletop role-playing game stream channel focused on inclusivity in gaming spaces and charity. As you can see, our lovely Jess is not with us tonight, but we hope she's doing well and we miss her very much. Just so you know, you can type !donate into the chat to get a link to our ongoing Tiltify event for I Need Diverse Games. You may also type !charity to learn more about them and all that they do. Each month we do give away some lovely prizes to random donors. Just so you are aware, because this is a charity stream, the money that comes in from those bits and subs does go right back into the channel. To be used for prizes and helping us make this place even better than it is. Did you know that we are sponsored by tabletoploot.com? You can type !tabletoploot for a link. And be sure to use the code GutPunchRP to save 15% at checkout. We are also sponsored by Dungeons Gate, a local Midwestern game shop. You can type Dungeons Gate to get a link to their website. You can also use the code GutPunchRP to save 10% at checkout on anything that is not already discounted. Would you like to support us in non-monetary ways? Great, we love that. You can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Liking the videos, tweets, and retweeting our Go Live tweets really does help the channel and help us spread our love of this wonderful game. If this is your first time joining us, welcome. You have joined us for episode 13, lucky number 13, of Darkness Rising, a homebrew fantasy 5e campaign. We do play every other Friday, so be sure to join us in 2 weeks. That'll be May. I hate that. It's already May. May 13th. Oh, another 13. Oh, what a good
Friday
day.
the 13th.
I'm going to have to plan something super fun for that one. Also, be sure to join us every Monday, coming back this upcoming Monday for the Spooktastic Laurelwind. They are currently in space, fighting off some pretty crazy things up there. And then also returning to us next week is going to be our wonderful Cow Pals. So be sure to join us. As always, the games are starting at 7:30 p.m. Eastern right here. So without further ado, let's get right back into it with a little episode recap. Lots happened last time, and also nothing. Last time on Darkness Rising, the battle with Arian reached a penultimate climax as the party buckled down to destroy her and stop whatever it was she was doing. They freed Anyssa's mind from her hold and then let the orb slowly suck away whatever power Arian had left. But the orb continued to grow. With quick thinking and a mind of furious vengeance against this demon who had hurt her friends, Kira tapped into a reservoir of power and carved a slice into the ritual circle, disrupting it. The orb stopped growing, but without the barrier to keep its gravitational pull in check, the party had a new threat to face. It wanted everything. Those who fell unconscious could do nothing to keep from moving towards the orb. Kira helped Jade take care of Anissa before darting off to help the unconscious Quinn, while River went to help Liliana, who lay there lifelessly. Her breath was gone and her heartbeat stopped. River let out a cry of anguish that echoed louder than the galling winds of the orb. Kira brought Quinn back to consciousness and was confused to find Liliana's body still lying on the other side of the cavern. And Liliana floated, at peace finally. Then she was back in the forest, and Berlin spoke to her through the mask. As their small ethereal meeting place began to disintegrate around them, he offered her a deal, a final deal. She would relinquish control of her body whenever he needed it, but she would be able to keep on living and accomplish her goals within her order. Liliana took the deal. Within Kira's arms, Liliana's hair began to glow again, and her face marred with the carvings of the mask. As her body turned to a vibrant earthy green. She floated out of Kira's arms and put an end to the orb, crushing it with a power unseen. Once outside of the pocket dimension, the party found skeletal corpses where townsfolk had once stood, and an incoherent Reyna, curious about their involvement. The party reunited with Chi and River's new pup and were able to get some questions out of the blind old woman, or answers to their questions from the blind old woman. The party has resolved now to go to the capital of Valetha, where the Evertree seems to be dying. Just how far has this cult's touch already spread, and will the party be able to stop it as they leave Harvale feeling a little stronger than before? So we pick up right after your long rest. So it is now morning in your clearing outside of Harvale. What are we doing?
I need to make a roll, right?
Yes, you do. It is morning.
Fun. Is this a D20 roll?
Just a flat D20, please.
Okie doke.
What is this? Fun stuff.
That's a 5.
Okay. I will message you. What are the rest of you guys doing?
Just rolling out of bed, like stretching, cleaning up. Because we're all in the dome together, right? Is that tonight?
Yes. You are, the tiny hut that Lady Reyna had cast for you has since dispelled as you wake up laying in your clearing, fully rested and very, very comfortable. Wow, words are hard. It's fine. So.
Got a long walk ahead of us. Shall we get going? Sort of like poking Kira with my toe.
Stop it. I'm getting
Rise
up.
and
Getting
shine.
up.
Just rise and shine.
I don't want to, but I will. Okay. It's early. Why are you up so early all the time?
It's just so invigorating in the morning, and I like get down on her level and clap
Why
her
are
on
you
both
so
shoulders.
loud?
Well, I'm just fucking with you right now, but we do have to get going.
Okay, fine. I'll get up.
Well,
Make sure everyone else is up.
I'm already doing like calisthenics and stuff, and like, why are you so long?
Right, it's a good question.
Hey! I'm just trying to get us up, get us going. I was gonna make some coffee, but now I'm not gonna make any coffee, so there's that. Start like continue stretching. Make sure my
She
stores
is
are all
like hanging back and absolutely watching you guys, just like trying to like mimic you, but not very well. River, your puppy has decided that your sleeve is a chew toy and is kind of like sitting there like pulling her hair.
No, what? Ah! And like stands up or tries to stand up. Like takes like 4 steps back. Stay.
Perfectly timed.
Perfectly timed. That was amazing.
Oh my god.
Gotta play.
She gets small
I'm an NPC.
Yeah.
Incredible.
All right. So we're doing our morning calisthenics. And then
Backing up our stuff.
backing up. All right. Anything else you guys want to do before setting out?
Sounds like we're good.
Okay. So you head out towards Eurasia, and it is not long before you do cross over into the country. The forest becomes denser. There's a weight of age to this forest as you enter deeper into it. The trees are bigger, and the canopy overhead almost seems to intertwine to create a roof over your head with very little space for sunlight to beam through. And yet there is still a light that seems to float through this forest. How are we traveling?
Like marching order?
Yeah.
I think Kira's probably pulling up the rear.
River would be in the
Okay.
back as usual. So, next
Okay.
to Kira.
Mhm.
All right.
Liliana will be up toward the front with Anissa.
Okay.
Guess I'm somewhere in the middle with you.
Okay.
Quinn has her head in the
Alright.
book. In the middle, probably.
Definitely in the middle, yeah.
My friends in the back and my friends in the front, I need you to make perception checks for me, please.
Oh no!
Oh, boy.
Oh, dearie me.
Damn.
Cool. It's gonna be that kind of night.
17!
2.
Ah.
I'm working on it. 3. River is really distracted. She's got like the puppy in the hood, which is like chewing on her hair now.
Okay. So for my friends who got 13 or higher, you notice that there's a calm to the air here. At least as you entered the forest. As time lingers on, there's a sense of discomfort. It's very subtle at first, almost as if like the humidity that you walk through, but it clings more than normal humidity, and it feels slick. Like if you were to wipe it off, it would leave trails on your arms, even though there's nothing there. You feel like you could feel it, or you should be able to see it, but you can't.
I'm Quinn. Does it feel supernatural? I don't have a good roll.
Yeah.
You could. I was gonna say you could roll an Arcana check.
Can I roll it for Quinn?
Yeah, sure.
Yes.
Yeah, go for it. Quinn can roll an Arcana check. Although she is reading, so it might be at disadvantage. But if you bring it up to her, then yeah, I'll say.
I would say I'd also like elbow River and be like, do you notice all this? This is weird.
Dog halfway on her head. Like, what?
Do you feel that? It's like kind of like, I don't know. It feels like walking through soup, but I don't know.
Does it feel magical at all? Out of place for River?
Roll me an Arcana check, and I'll say if you bring it up to Quinn, she can also roll one. Go for
Hey,
it.
Smarty Pants, do you feel this?
What?
Perfect.
Incredible.
Ooh, solid 13.
Okay, so we got a 13, and what was yours again, Amber? I'm sorry.
Oh, just a 5. Doesn't she have like a bajillion to add to her? So it's like 30, right?
God bless.
First off, she's incredible. Second off, that's beautiful. So it's a +8 for the 13. I think that's what she said.
Yeah, I had the math right.
21.
Okay. There does appear to be a faint, lingering, magical touch to this, but it's so faint it's hard to pinpoint exactly what it is. So say she relays to you all that the there's something that's lingering, but can't quite tell what it was.
Mage armor.
Okay.
Keeping eyes out. little more carefully than before.
She kind of clings to you, Jade. Like, holds your hand a little tighter. And as you all continue down on the main road, I'm towards the capital. Who had the 17 perception? Kira, you look around and they're Fraggle. The trees appear to be dark. And are they oozing?
Mm-mm.
Mm-mm.
And I'll be right back. I'm so sorry.
Yeah. Just kind of like nudge River. Be like, dude, am I seeing things? Am I seeing things?
No,
Or is that...
that's terrifying.
No, yes, that's not very normal at all, is it?
No. Not even a little bit. I don't like the look of that.
Gonna grab Kira and twin invisibility on us both. So
Okay.
Goodbye.
So you are both invisible. What are...
Doesn't this stop as soon as I hit something?
yes, when you hit Anissa, that's when it stops.
You're not. I can hear you.
Right. Shit.
I suggest we just kind of try and hustle through.
To be completely
Okay,
fair, though,
continue.
that's
Yeah, good idea.
your solution to most things.
And sometimes, most of the time, it works. And I think the oil trees hopefully can't hear us, and if we just go quickly.
It's too early to try and argue that logic. I'm following the rest of you.
Double time.
Okay. So you guys sort of speed through the forest. The farther in you get, though, the thicker the air becomes, the more it clings to you. My friends with magic, you feel weaker than you should, but not necessarily weaker. It's like a tingle in your fingers of stuff leaving, but there's nothing leaving. It's just like weird.
I'd like to do a divine sense, please.
Go for it. So you do a divine sense, and that tells you
That tells me
if there's Fey Fiend.
celestial fiends are undead within 60 feet, or if a place has been consecrated or desecrated.
Okay. There is the faint feeling of desecration,
Okay.
but it's not like... It's as if the desecration is almost clawing out from the direction that you're going. And it's very faint here,
Okay.
but you can tell by how it's going that the farther you travel in, the more desecrated the ground will become.
Okay. Gonna relay that to the party.
Is divine sense a spell?
Mm-mm.
Okay. You're still
That's
invisible.
feature. I'll...
I don't like the feeling of that.
I mean, I would stop moving forward while stopping, right?
Anissa, do you mind if I cast a spell on you?
And
No, yeah, go ahead, I guess.
I'll
Okay.
just,
I guess I should ask. No, never mind. Go ahead.
I'll just grab Anissa's hand and cast protection from evil and good. Just to try and avoid the situation we had last time we had a fight.
Good call.
I prefer you on our side.
Was she not?
No, well, magic stuff.
The woman was very pretty. She can hardly be blamed.
Yeah, what?
It was
Oh.
pretty.
Okay.
But about the forests, we're sure we're going the right way?
Are we?
For my friends who... Quinn has the map?
Quinn has
Who has the
I
map?
believe so, yeah.
Map.
I think Quinn
I would say she could pull it up. It's hard to tell direction just because you can't see over top of the canopy, but you are 99% sure you are going in the right direction. You are traveling in a northwesterly way up towards where the capital of Eurasia is.
Okay.
Hmm.
I mean, I don't know what else to do except keep going, but
Yes, I suppose standing here talking about it won't get us through this place.
no. We just trying to be careful and honor God as we go.
How much further do we have to go? Do we tell on the map?
You know that you're probably going to have to spend one night in the forest because there's a river that you'll have to cross. But you should be able to get there by midday the following day.
Okay, let's make it to the river during this day.
Yeah.
Yes. Sorry. Yes. Yes. Like that would be like your end point for the day. You'd probably get there early dinner-ish time, so very late afternoon. So you could cross the river before bed if you wanted to.
I think we should at least wait till we get to the water, right?
Yeah.
Sure.
Out of curiosity, the oozing trees, does it feel like it's an illusion, like everything's kind of oozing, or does it like the trees are oozing?
It's like it looks as if there's sap running from different points on the tree. It's not like they're I'm trying to think of the Ghibli movie with like the slime monster, you know how those like it sort of like comes out. It's not like that. Oh, even better in Princess Mononoke when like the great spirit dies, how it like kind of gets blobby. It's like that, but on a small scale. So there are points of the trees that seem to be oozing this dark oil-like liquid, and there are some that are farther along than others. Some still look perfectly fine and seem to hold their almost magical, ethereal sort of appearance, but the ones that don't, they seem to be as if rotting. But that shouldn't happen. This is the undying forest. Trees don't die here because they're connected to the Evertree. So.
Things are beginning to not bode well, I think. Can I take a vial out of my alchemist supplies and collect some of this ooze?
Absolutely. Go ahead and roll me a
Seeing Liliana take that out, can River be like, you want me to do that without touching it?
I mean, it's a tree.
Okay.
It should be fine.
An unholy
Famous
one.
last
Gotta
words.
point that out. That there are things that I mean,
It should be
you're on
fine.
risk.
I mean, we have the tool. Just let the mage, the magical hand, do it. Mage hand. I know what that's called.
What? And she will just, since she doesn't know where River is, she'll just hold up the vial.
Like 30 feet away from River, it's just the vial gets plucked up invisibly as well. It's just a whole lot of invisible nonsense going on. Yeah.
It's just floating around. Yep. Can you roll me a sleight of hand check?
Ooh, yes, I would love to.
Because you have control over the mage hand like a regular hand, correct? Like, I'm not misremembering that.
Let me look. It's not like Arcane Trickster Rogue. It's just kind of mage hands. Let me double check that for you.
Okay.
I can do things like open doors and retrieve an item from an open container or pour the contents out of a vial.
Okay, so then yeah, I'll say you can also scoop contents into a vial, because that makes sense. So just give me a regular sleight of hand check, please.
22.
22. Okay. So you've used your mage hand for many a things. You slap it along the walls to activate traps. You guys don't see the hand, but you watch as the vial quickly speeds over to a tree and then stops, and then very deftly just kind of whoop, and returns to Liliana. Within the vial is a blackish brown, brackish, because that's a word, that's a thing, a brackish colored liquid, and as the mage hand takes it to holds it out to you, Liliana, do you take it?
I'll grab the vial, yeah.
Okay, as you hold the vial, it feels warm to the touch. Not overpoweringly hot, but it shouldn't be warm.
When we settle down by the river, Liliana's gonna take out her full alchemy supplies and try and figure out what this is if she can.
Okay.
Fantasy CSI. Run some tests.
Yeah, exactly.
I love it. All right. As you continue on down this path, is there anything you guys wanted to do before you get to the river for the evening?
As we're walking, River is gonna I guess she can't really see Kira. Never mind. She shot herself in the foot for this. We keep going. Yeah. She stays silent.
Okay, how long does it last?
An hour.
Okay. I mean, so if you're not going to do anything while you're invisible, I'd say after an hour you do come back. Do you recast it or
no?
Okay.
Seeing it wasn't an imminent threat and more of an ongoing one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
She'll stay with the group.
Yeah. Okay. So it gets to be your body sort of tell you that it's getting close to dinner time, one of those could eat if I really if I had to I could eat. And everyone's passive perception is 12 or higher. If you're not No. Okay.
Investigation's good.
Mine's 12.
Oh my.
Okay. All right. So
13.
12.
Okay. Anyone who has over a 12, it hits you first. There's a smell of rot and decay as you enter, and a couple moments later, it hits the rest of you. This is vile, and it permeates the air, and almost is sickening to the stomach. So if you do not have passive perception over 12, it hits you real fast, and I need a con save, please.
So 12 or lower we need to make the save? Or...
Yes. 12 or lower.
Oh, 12 or lower. Oh, man.
Or no. I'm sorry. If you're 12, you're safe. Anything under 12.
Got it.
Sorry.
Ah!
I know my words.
15 for the save.
Okay.
23.
Ooh,
Okay.
ooh.
All right. You guys feel your stomachs churn, but are able to hold it down. As you come upon this bubbling, viscous river that spans about 20 feet across. And
Well.
the scent seems to come from there.
Divine sense again, please.
This area is absolutely helplessly desecrated. However, on the other side of the river, it seems fine. Untouched.
Coming from the river. The river's the source of whatever all the desecration is. That's where it's coming from. The other side is fine. It's only this side. But this side's bad.
Other than, like, the decaying trees and everything, are there any other visual differences on this side versus that side?
Go ahead and make me an investigation because you're looking for specific things. If you just want to look for like a general feel of the forest, you can roll perception. But if you're looking for specific details, definitely do that investigation.
Are the trees green?
16.
16? Okay. Glancing around, most of the trees here are black, rotting. Like, it's almost like a facade. Like, you can tell looking at them that if you put your hand on that trunk, you would leave and it would just be oil and, like, rotted bark on your hand. Like, liquid coal, right? That's the thing. Coal
Sure,
before it hardens, like that oilish fossil fuel grossness.
I have a question.
Yes.
Do the trees on the other side of the river look the same?
No, they do not.
Okay, cool. That tracks. All right.
Can I take some tongs out of my pack?
Yeah.
As
absolutely.
well as another vial and
Okay.
get a sample of the river water?
Okay. And your vials are glass, yes?
Yes, they are.
Okay, you dip that vial into, and you lift it up, and you watch as the glass begins to melt, and the liquid falls right out back into the river.
Ooh.
Okay, I'll try to
Acid.
That's
crossbow bolt or something
definitely-
in there, but that, I guess.
In
that
fact,
works
That's
as
the
well.
water.
no, it's not.
Yeah, we don't touch that.
Mm-mm.
How the fuck are we gonna cross that then?
So, looking left and right, is there a bridge? Like a nice, sturdy looking bridge.
Please let there be a bridge.
In the immediate area of where you are, no, but you would know that there is absolutely a bridge. It's about 20 miles south of you. So you could get there fairly easily. Take like an hour or so.
Damn, move fast.
Yeah.
They always be
Right.
running, yeah.
Right? Well,
She running, she attracts them.
okay, if you're running, what is it, like 11 minutes per mile? Right? Is that a typical walking speed? Or is it 16 minutes per mile? Something like that.
I feel like 16 is.
This I do not know.
You know,
That might be
to the
speed.
bridge.
That might be speed walking. Hold on, I Google.
well, because like 10-minute miles is a fairly slow jog.
Okay.
We could definitely 16-minute mile walking, probably.
Mm. Yeah. It's just a nice place
Well,
to be.
a mile.
It would definitely.
Okay, yeah, 15 to 22 minutes to for an average person to walk the mile. Okay, so it'd be more than that. I can math.
Math is hard.
20.
About 4 miles.
How far
Yeah.
across
Okay,
the
so
river?
it'd take you 5 hours. 5 hours to get there.
How far across the
But
river?
it's already dinner time.
The river is 20 feet. It's like early dinner time. It's like 5-ish.
Well, I could get across by myself, but I don't think I could get anybody else with me. By which I mean I can cast Misty Step, but that is just one person.
I can also do the same.
I can Misty Step.
But for the rest of
3.
you, that's not helpful.
Alright.
Hmm.
Is there any other like notable landmarks or structures, like trees that look stronger, tall trees on the far side of the river, anything like that?
Yeah, you've got a couple like willow-like trees kind of like creeping into, or like mangrove-esque trees creeping into the river, sort of hanging over, probably shortening your distance by about 5-ish so feet in those areas. And then you've got a few on your side, but those trees, you could touch them if you want, but they don't look great. Not this close to the river.
There's nothing like stone sticking out that, a large cairn, perhaps?
Tire rope too, something big enough for that, maybe.
High or low?
Oh, fuck. Low.
Okay. You look around, and you have to walk up the river a little bit, but there does appear to be a spot where the river does get a little shallower, and you can see some large boulders sort of creeping up out of the water. They appear to be about 3-ish so feet apart in some at the most, with a like 5-foot gap at the very end towards the good side, and they're decent footholds, some bigger than others. I rolled a 5, so you got it.
We could.
I mean, I'd like to get out of the forest sooner rather than later, but how confident are we feeling about rock jumping?
I can do it.
Well, the rest of them can Misty Step, so I think it's just between me and you.
Emmy,
Yeah.
I can do it.
Quinn.
And she.
And Quinn, can Quinn Misty Step?
I was trying to figure that out. Hold on.
Yeah.
I'm like, hold on, let me.
I'm looking.
Someone holler to Jess.
I was like,
no,
No, let her.
Cannot.
She cannot Misty Step. Okay.
She cannot.
Just put her on your back.
That I wasn't going to actually suggest it, but the thought did occur to me.
Yeah.
I was gonna put she on your back.
All right, yeah, I'll piggyback Quinn then.
River is watching this very intently, by the way, ready to react if something bad happens.
Okay.
Yeah,
Now,
same.
Before we do this, the rocks look slippery. Like, I mean, they're able to survive this acid winter, but not the glass.
So it doesn't appear that the rocks, like the water doesn't appear to be moving. It's stagnant with how much gunk is in it. So there's no like waves to possibly crest over the rocks.
The floor is lava.
The floor is lava.
So there's trees on the opposite side, though.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm gonna take out. Oh, do I have a rope? A rope?
Do you have a rope?
It's like, I think everybody has a rope.
If no one else does, I do.
Yeah. I do have a rope. I'm going to Just tie it to a bolt for a thingy.
Okay.
You know.
So, like, into the ground? Or
No, like a
crossbow.
bolt.
a crossbow bolt. Yes.
Yeah. To make like a guideline across. Okay. And just have one of the people who's misty stepping secure it as they go.
Okay.
Sure. I will misty step across the river.
All right.
Does the air feel cooler?
As you cross the threshold of the far bank, there's a relief that comes over you. It's almost welcoming. You feel yourself rejuvenated. You no longer feel that oil slick on your skin. It's a breath of fresh air after the gross damp of decay from the other side of the river.
Can I check the vial of oil that I collected earlier? Is it still warm?
It is still warm and slightly warmer than before.
Interesting. I'll secure the crossbow bolt to the tree. Set up the guide wire.
Are you tying it or stabbing it into the tree?
I think tying it would probably be more secure.
Okay. So you tie that knot.
And I'll hold it on the other side. Unless there's, since the trees are not as...
gross.
Yeah, since the trees are a little nasty on this side, I'll hold the other end of the rope.
Okay.
That's me and Jade carrying the small people. All right.
Small people. Come on,
I'm going to need, there are 5 stones to get across. No. Yet 3 feet at most. Math. Sorry. Yeah, so they're like 2 feet apart. So I'll just need 5 dexterity rolls.
Dex, not athletics.
Oh, athletics, yeah, acrobatics or athletics, depending on if you're going to use. If you have, go ahead.
How big are the stones, though?
They're varying in sizes. The smallest one being probably enough for a single foot, with the biggest you're able to put both feet down, with a little extra room to spare.
River is waiting for the minute there's a slip, like not even a fall. It just looks like the maybe if of.
Okay.
So we do have a guide rope.
Yes, you do have a guide rope. So I will say you can make them at advantage. So we got a decent-sized one, then a small one, then a large one, then a small one, or a medium one, and then the last is the small one for that.
I mean, if they're only like 2 or 3 feet apart, for someone like 6 feet tall, that's not very far.
Yeah. It's more... Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Just a roll super low.
Give me 1 dexterity. DC 14.
Still at advantage because of the rope.
Still at advantage because of the rope. I'll give it to you.
Okay.
Because your logic is sound.
I believe in the heart of the dice.
I also believe in the heart of your dice.
Natural 18 for one of them.
All right. Nice. So yes, Anissa, you are able to definitely cross over the river, and not have to worry about slipping. Jade, you're up.
What am I rolling? Dex?
Yes. At advantage because you have the rope.
Uh, 19.
19. Yep, you also are able to definitely make it across to the other side. So all that's left on this side is River with her puppy and Kira.
Oh, the puppy.
I got the puppy. Puppy's good.
Can the puppy come with you with Misty Step?
Oh no!
No. One of us should have grabbed it. No.
Just throw him. Just throw him.
Come back if you want.
I just keep my hands up.
The
waiting for it.
rope.
No. River puts the puppy down. Stay. She'll like take a half step back. She will Misty Step herself to the other side. And then looking back, she's gonna cast Vortex Warp on the puppy and bring the puppy over. Drop it in
All
her
right.
arms.
Okay,
Huh?
go ahead and mark that spell off.
Yep.
And then I'll Misty Step across.
All right, you guys all make it to the other side of this river, and you are greeted by that fresh scent of freeing air as you leave the unholy, desecrated, decaying forest behind you. Even though it's about you would assume the sun would be setting. There seems to still be a faint light. It's a blue light that kind of a hazy around you, but it illuminates the air. So you can still see.
Is this normal?
For friends who have been to Aletha before, yes, this is normal. This is the magic of the tree.
It's what I remember last time I was here.
Yeah, looks about the same.
Really? Huh. Okay. Yeah, it's weird.
I don't think I can sleep with the lights on.
The
Oh, I
blindfold.
didn't even think of that.
Would you like to borrow one of my blindfolds?
Yes, please.
All right, come here.
Yes. And she goes over to you.
Liliana will pin her hair up and just start wrapping just very gently around the eyes and hold them up so that she can see out of them, and then pull them down like close when she wants to go to sleep.
I feel so cool. How do I look? And she turns around and looks at you all and pulls them close.
Very dashing.
Very cool.
Mm-hmm.
Like a badass.
Yes. She opens it up and then goes and sits back next to Jade. All right. So you are making camp?
We make camp.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
and after camp is made, I'll pull out the whole kit and caboodle.
Okay.
Rather than Liliana doesn't carry a Bunsen burner with her, she just holds the thing she wants to heat over her hand and casts Produce Flame.
Okay.
Never stops being weird.
Use your natural talent.
That's impressive, just still. Getting to do that in the field. Without a whole science kit.
I am portable, if nothing else.
What does all that stuff do?
Originally I carried these things around to essentially dissect poisons on the move if there was an unknown substance, much like this. You can tell a lot from something just by how it reacts to heat. That one is an accelerant. That one is just a general adjutant. I think that one's just...
What?
Liliana will just dip her finger in one of the liquids and taste it. Yes, that is seawater. It's basically a lot of things that I pour onto this to see what happens to it, depending on what's attached to it. Generally, I like to keep a bit of flesh as well, but don't have it. I'm kidding.
No.
It's a joke.
I'm just gonna go do a little scout around, make sure it's chill.
Yeah.
It's about that time for me to go meditate.
Help with that.
Liliana will look over to River and go, "This is why I don't tell jokes."
They'll get used to eventually. The humor grows. You know, when you can tell when you're being serious or not. It's still a little bit hard to tell.
I mean, I was fine with the flesh thing. I just don't want to get blown up by whatever this is.
Yeah,
Mm.
I
valid.
didn't even think
Yeah.
about that.
Come on, She. And we gotta do a scout.
She's immediately up and at your side, like, yes, let's go. Okay, Liliana, what are you doing to the tree oil sap?
I'm just gonna run it through like the full gamut of, does this react to insert vial I have on my on hand?
Okay.
She'll also, the last test will probably be a vial of her own blood.
Okay.
And a different vial of blood from a consensual source.
All right.
River is watching from 30 feet away, prepared to shove Liliana out of the way if something starts looking explosive.
All right. So you start off with your typical things. You heat it up. You notice that it doesn't take much additional heat to start bubbling. And as it's bubbling, you watch as it almost seems to separate, like the sap and this other oil, that it almost lava lamps in a sense, very, very small amounts. And you watch as the oil sort of tries to expand again, but the heat condenses it as it continues to go, and you add things to it. And when you get to like the salt water, it almost creates a layer in between the sap and this ick on top. And then you add your blood to it. And that oil takes it, and it begins to it sort of begins to seem as if it's doing more, like getting more active, when all of a sudden it dissipates, leaving you with a vial of tree sap. And if you can give me an Arcana check.
Certainly. Aha, a natural 20 for 20.
Fantastic. You watched as first is this fresh blood.
Liliana's blood would be fresh, yes.
Okay.
That's that. That's
there was a faint misting of green that. Yeah, go ahead.
If River's watching this, waiting to.
You're 30 feet away.
30 feet away. Okay, so too far.
So it's not a lot,
okay.
And so you would notice that. Well, how does Liliana react to what happened?
I think Liliana is mostly squinting, and just like with a free hand is scribbling notes into one of her open journals and just like watching it closely.
Okay.
And after my blood's added to it, it's just a vial of tree sap, huh?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to... I'll set that vial just in a holster, like one of the vial holders onto the ground. I'll take out my water skin and dump all the water out of it and go over to the river. And I want to see what it does in reaction to the animal hide that makes up the water skin.
Okay. You dip it in and there's an audible as it bubbles faintly around the skin, trying to eat at it. You are able to get some into it, but it is continuously eating away at it.
Interesting.
And I will say it does not take long to start to sort
just
of
bore a hole.
Yeah.
Oh, that's another thing I need to shop for. She'll just like open a finger on one of her canines and we'll just let her blood drip into the river. I don't like that you smiled when I said that I did that, Sarah. I'm gonna need you to work with me here.
Okay. So you just kind of like prick your finger and then hold it
Just
out over.
letting it drip, yeah.
Okay. Just the one drop doesn't seem to do much.
Don't you dare. Don't you fucking dare.
It doesn't do much, but it's something.
I'll pull out a small knife and look at River and go, maybe be a bit alert. Going to do some testing.
You pulled out the science kit. I'm on 100% alert.
All right, well, don't need the commentary. And I'll just I'll open the palm of my hand.
Okay.
I appreciate the heads up.
Okay. We're gonna pause there. My friend's doing a scouting. Could I get a perception check from you all?
Is it just me?
You and Chi. You can do an at advantage since Chi is with you. She is absolutely asking hundreds of questions. She's like, how do you tell if it's an animal track or if it's a person track?
Okay. Rule 1.
Okay.
You gotta be quiet.
Okay, you're right.
On a swivel. Ears open. But also watch your feet, because if you step on something and it makes a sound, they'll know that you were there before you came up on them, and you won't be able to kill them. Also, you want to keep your eyes open for food. It's a long list. We'll get into it. I'll point stuff out, just like
Okay.
athletic stance. On your toes.
Okay, I'm ready. How do you know if you don't step on a stick if you're not watching the ground?
Well, you do like glances. You gotta be quick.
Oh, okay.
And I start creeping ahead, and I'm rolling. Okay. Are we doing survival?
Survival, perception. What you looking for? Remy.
He's out there barking. I feel like it's actually more of a hunting trip than anything, since this forest seems pretty chill. Okay, 16 is going to be the total on that.
Okay. You survey the ground and you see typical tracks, like you see a couple rabbit footprints, some worms. Everything appears to be fine, except there's a prickle on the back of your neck that's coming from across the river.
Like from the desecrated side?
Yeah.
Is it like a toned down version of kind of what we felt when we were on the other side of the river?
This is very specifically something is watching you.
Okay. I feel like we'd be walking away from there. Did it feel stronger when we were closer to where?
Yes. Yeah. So if you're walking further into the forest from the river, it fades as you get further in.
Okay. I'd still be trying to make a loop, but I'd also want to try and go, if it doesn't become like a really long journey, like try and go out to where it fades and kind of see where that line is.
Okay. It's not far. It's almost as if as soon as you're out of sight of the river, it fades away completely. But the minute you step back and can see part of the river, it comes back.
All right. Did we catch any prey on this scouting mission?
Absolutely. You found some rabbits. You actually see like a small family of deer walking by.
That seems excessive.
Okay. So yeah, you're able to grab some rabbits or some birds, whatever.
I'll go rabbits. Rabbits? They're more prolific, like the turnover's higher. Yeah.
Not wrong.
And then I would kind of come back to camp, and I feel like River would be standing on the outskirts.
Yes, River, where are you standing?
Exactly 30 feet away from wherever Liliana is prepared to.
Okay.
Yeah. So if Liliana's by the river, then River would be, or by her name so similar. She'd be in the camp or further away from it, depending on where Liliana is.
Okay. So, you can find her on your way back.
Just quietly, like, step up beside her, not like creeping. You feel like you're being watched?
Does paranoid River feel like she's being watched?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, now that you've mentioned it, I hate that feeling.
Yeah, I think it's from the other side of the river, and not too far back, it kind of drops off, and I feel like we should scoot back when Liliana's done with.
Yeah, we should probably go stay further into the woods. Like a quick scan of the other side, does anything seem out of place, ominous?
Yeah. Also be doing or assisting with.
Like a giant pair of eyes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. There's a few sets of them.
Ooh.
Like we could see them from like 50 feet away.
Yeah.
Like,
if
they seem to glow.
River's mage hand is...
There's like 4 different sets. Like there's a set here, and then there's one over it, and then like a little bit farther down the river, there's like just one, and then there's another set.
What are they attached to?
Surprisingly, you can't tell.
But they're firmly on the other side, like none of them are just chilling in the river or flirting.
Yes. They're firmly on the other side.
Are we just grabbing Liliana?
It's dark on that side of the river. You have the light on this side, but it's
River's
dark
got
over
dark
there.
Vision up to 120 feet. So
this is absolutely magical.
Okay.
Gross.
Hindered.
Whatever that is, it's magical, crazy shit. I'm trying to figure out the range of my mage hand. Weird.
I'm just walking forward to Liliana and like pointing this out.
Okay.
What? Huh? Oh. Oh.
Yes, I think we should move back a bit.
As she has her palm cut open.
Yeah, just kind of like squeezing her hand.
Yeah,
like a ripe orange over the river.
That's
one hell of a mental image.
That is a visual.
I just imagine the guy from Lord of the Rings who's like, we are too sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He will die for you.
How's the bleeding in the river going? Is it?
How's the bleeding in the river going, DM?
You watch as the first drop of your blood hits the water with a little bit of an open cut, now a bigger cut, and nothing seems to happen.
Nothing. weirdly.
Well, I'm sorry, that's not working out for you. Let's go.
Right. I'll cast Produce Flame on my finger and just cauterize that.
Okay.
That is badass.
Well.
River is going to... She'll go up to the bank.
Okay.
So the bank is 20 feet. So up to the tree line, she's going to Mage Hand kind of throw a pebble, but like further from the tree line between, see if near the eyeball, see if it like anything goes to attack it.
You watch as you hear the sound of wood crunching under feet as one of the eyes disappears, and then you hear a like shuffling and then those eyes don't return.
Maybe we should go.
Yeah, let's a little bit further.
Where is Jade?
Yeah,
I'm by the camp. Out by the river.
Right. All right. Let's take a few steps back.
Maybe just further into the woods.
I probably shouldn't. Yes, further into the woods. Sounds like a good idea.
The woods.
Is Jade just sitting there meditating?
No, I'm still awake.
Okay, all right. I was like, maybe she was just in a realm and didn't hear us. I was just gonna sit by the river, and we're gonna be like, head count. Oh, the cliff without her.
I was about to, but then everyone started going to the river.
Yeah.
Right. All right. So you guys go back to that spot. As soon as you are no longer in sight of the river, you feel like you're not being watched anymore. However, the minute that you are all out of sight of the river, you hear a guttural howling moan echo out, and it tapers off until it's gone.
Yep.
Well, two to watch this evening?
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm good at being sneaky, and this is teaching me. I can do it.
I keep forgetting you're there. You're doing a really great job.
Thanks. I'm trying really hard. And she's like still standing in her on her toes pose.
Yes. Good athletic stance.
Yes.
Oh god, we love Quinn at the river. No.
Oh no. Yeah.
She's still like on my back asleep.
Yes.
Piggyback
No,
this whole
she's
time.
reading. She's just reading.
Yeah, she's
Never
like,
even
has no
bothered
idea
to put her
what's
down.
going on.
Yep.
Working on
Little
her
wizard backpack.
her chronergy magic stuff.
Alright,
Okay.
we travel a little bit further. And then make a new camp.
Okay. You guys make a new camp, and everything appears to be nice here.
Yeah. I'll roast some rabbits, do the dressing and the
Heck yeah.
rabbiting.
So you guys are able to relax at this camp and have a nice meal. All right. And who's going to take my first watch for the night?
River will go first.
Okay. Anyone
join
going? Okay. River and Quinn. Kira. Who are you? I'm losing my mind. I'm so sorry.
Come on.
All right. Who's going to take second watch?
I can take it with she and Quinn.
Okay. She and Quinn and Liliana are taking second watch. And then, so Jade and Anissa, you're my last watch for the night. All right. River and Kira, give me those perception checks. Or one of you can roll at advantage.
Oh, too late. I already rolled. Otherwise, I would have given you an
Yep,
advantage.
same. So did I. Yep, too late.
Oh,
11.
11?
Nine.
Okay.
Very first batch.
Sure, everything's fine.
It's fine, yeah.
The night feels very very calm and relaxing compared to what you just spent almost your entire day walking through. This is like an oasis of just absolute comfort. Do you do anything on your watch, chat? Or you just stay focused on making sure that you and your party members are focused on you and your party members being safe?
River is going to use Kira with the puppy to try and get the puppy to, like, go from her to Kira, like, at her command. So, like...
Okay, roll animal handling check for me.
Kira's just there like, this. I'm not sure how I feel about this. No. She's not sure how to feel about this one because it's adorable, but it's also a hellhound.
It's a cute hellhound. It's a baby. It's just really excited as it comes bouncing towards you, the ears flopping.
Oh,
I'm just so happy.
With its smile just a touch too long. Its little tongue flapping out. It's got little smoldering smoke coming from its mouth.
It's a good demon boy. It's the best demon boy. That is a 15.
Okay, it does absolutely listen. It runs over to Kira, and then it like looks back at you like, "Did I do good? Did I do good?"
Like,
and then it's like,
back over to him.
and it takes it, starts eating, and then it looks at you, Kira, like expectantly, like, "You're gonna feed me too, right?"
Yeah. I'll have a piece of turkey from a bag.
It trots back over to you, very, very pleased with itself, and sits down and starts to munch.
I have to thank you, Kira, for saving Liliana. I was convinced she was gone.
I mean, I thought she was too, but I don't know, I didn't want to leave her body there.
I knew she'd be angry if I left her journal there, but glad she went back for her. When you destroyed the ritual, did you feel different?
I don't know, maybe I know that it was a bit more powerful than when I usually hit things with my sword, but I can sometimes, I don't know, just kind of like fiddling with her holy symbol, just like fidgeting with it.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
What's your holy symbol look like again?
It's a symbol of Torm, so it's a symbol of a gauntlet.
Okay.
Yeah.
The river's gonna kind of point towards it. It was really brief, and then there was a lot going on, and there was a really giant glow cloud, but you were glowing like yellowish, reddish, and like a giant hand was kind of helping you in that moment. I might have missaw it, but I know I can't explain magic very well, but I definitely recognize magic. So
I
don't know if that means anything to you, or
maybe, yeah. I think it means that I was doing something right, I think.
You did a lot right back there.
I hope so.
You certainly saved
Does it mean that
us.
Yeah. I mean, like, at least that moment, I don't know, sometimes, I mean, I had a teacher who explained to me that if I try to, if it's something worthy, if it's something that's important enough, that I can try praying to Tom, and kind of gestures to the symbol. And if it's something that he decides is worth it, then he can give a little more strength, I guess. make it a little more powerful. So I did try that, and I guess it worked. I guess he decided it was worth it.
He definitely approves you of wrecking stuff, so...
Which is good, because that's one of the only things I'm actually good at.
Oh, you are extremely talented in that aspect, but you're good at other things too. You're compassionate. You care for others. You got that healing thing going on.
You sound really excited about that.
It's my sparkling personality. It's... Sorry, I'm working on it.
No, it's fine. I know that I can be a little much sometimes, and that by comparison, I don't know.
I read people. That's kind of what I do. And you're fun. So don't be embarrassed by it.
Thanks.
Own it. Nice to have someone with, I don't know, excitement, enthusiasm. Yes, yeah.
Thanks, Riva.
You're welcome.
Means a lot, actually.
Oh, glad I could help. I don't usually do that.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I haven't had a lot of friends.
You,
Yeah.
with that personality, I find that really hard to believe. It's like a big old puppy in armor. Who could say no to you?
You'd be surprised.
An actual puppy. Dive bombs you.
Okay. Is there anything else you wanted to do for your night?
Did I get some meta magic back? Did that take an hour?
Yes. It's a watch, so it's what, 3 hours? 3 hours?
Yeah.
Something like that. Or 2.5 hours to equal out to be about 8 hours of sleep. All right. And you wake up Liliana, Chi, and Quinn for your watch.
It's time for your revenge. Get really close to her face.
It wasn't necessarily who woke me up this morning.
Oh, that's true.
Who did that? Another time.
Yeah.
I help nudge the others awake.
We'll go take care of Liliana.
Yeah, I'll go wake up.
I'm awake.
Mm-hmm. Promise you can go back to sleep.
Okay.
A little bit.
Those two will be fine.
I'm awake.
No. Please.
I
They
too
need an
am
adult.
awake.
But not. I will very slowly do the Undertaker sit-up thing and just blink. Good night.
Good luck.
Good night, we got this. You can sleep well knowing that we're here. Yeah.
Yep. I trust you, Chi.
I'm concerned, but I'm going to bed.
Liliana will
Okay.
turn her back to Chi so Chi doesn't have to watch her just like nick herself on the cheek or something like that.
Okay.
And I am going to activate my Rite of the Dawn.
Okay.
So my sword is now shedding light within like 20 feet. I won't, be close to anyone who's sleeping, so I just flash bang them awake. But,
Good morning.
yeah, just to have that going. And then Liliana will clap her hands together and get a big smile and say, Chi,
Yeah?
do you know why I wanted to take watch with you tonight?
No. I have to say, these work really well.
Yes, they're quite helpful. You could even get some designed ribbon ones, and wear them as a fashion statement, like my old teacher used to do.
Yes.
In my alchemy bag, I found these things, and Liliana will pull out like 3 mason jars. One is filled with honey, one has honeycomb in it, and the other one has just some large chunks of fruit inside of it.
Okay.
And she will grab a pot and melt the beeswax over fire until it's like not completely liquid but slightly turning into goo. And then she'll add in the honey, and she'll tell Chi to pick a fruit that's in the jar.
Okay. You said it's just a bunch of berries and such?
Yeah, it's just a random assortment of fresh fruits.
She will pick up a blackberry. This one.
All right, and I'll take out a bunch of the blackberries and I'll juice them into the mixture.
Oh.
And then I'll mix it together, lay it out flat on some wax paper, and let it cool for a little bit.
Okay.
Then I will cut like a square of it off, and give this to Chi and say, I guarantee you that for our entire watch, it will keep its flavor.
I'll take that bet.
And it's just blackberry flavored gum.
Oh,
and for everyone watching at home, that's an actual recipe on how to make homemade gum.
She's very happy.
And with that, Liliana will just sort of like tell Chi to stay close to the camp, and she's gonna do like just a sweeping thing.
Okay.
And she'll also she'll like pause before she goes off and go, if you stop seeing the light from my sword, you should probably wake someone up. That goes for the pair of you.
Okay.
Why? Okay. She like looks to Quinn, and then Quinn gives the okay. So she goes, okay.
You shouldn't stop seeing the light from my sword. It should be fine. I'm just going to do it.
Does it have to do with why you were green yesterday? Because you were green. You weren't blue. You were green. It was weird.
I'm not sure.
How can you not be sure? You were like different. You were like Kira colored.
Well, when you can do things like this, and Liliana will just make some blood levitate in front of her.
Oh.
Never know what you can get into. Keep your eyes open.
Okay. And
she'll start doing her little perimeter walk.
Okay.
And she'll reach into her bag for the mask, and if I believe that
not there.
And she'll just sort of pat the empty space in her bag and say, you could have picked a better color than green.
In your head, you hear, I certainly beg to differ. Green is quite a lively color.
Yes, it is. Thank you.
It's color of life. I figured that would work for you. Work for everything. You right?
Well, it's fine. Green is so noticeable. You could have went with a purple or something a bit more conspicuous.
Fine, if you don't want to be seen, which honestly is a tragedy. With your complexion, you should want to dazzle the world.
I'm not a very dazzling person.
And yet, with your talents, you could do so much. Especially now.
Well, I'm at least glad that you are prepared for work, because I get the feeling that Danella is going to have plenty for us to do after she receives my report from the town.
Oh, yes. That's your boss, right? If I'm reading your memories correct.
Oh, joy. Kind of. She... Yes. Yes.
Goody. I've always wanted to meet the leader of your organization. This is going to be quite fun.
You know, it's very well possible that if Danella considers me a possessed agent, that she executes me on the spot, right?
I'd like to see her try.
Yes, yes. What?
I'd love to show you what you're really capable of doing. Come on, it'll be fun.
Hold on a second.
Reverse Liliana senses tingling in her sleep.
Fine. But not for my entire watch, please. I don't want to worry Chi.
Oh, you absolutely no fun. All right. And it's a weird sensation as you are sort of pushed to the back. And your body begins moving on its own. And you venture off into the woods. Getting farther and farther away.
Well, my apologies to whoever they wake up, I guess.
Can you roll me a flat d20, please?
Sure. Last time I did this, it was a 5.
Mm-hmm.
That one's not much better. It's a 9.
Okay. Berlin takes you into the woods and seems to be searching for something. And he stumbles upon a sleeping a large mound in the ground. And he kind of looks at it for a second and then recoils back and actually sort of seems to fade for a minute, and you feel like some control coming back as you look at the form, and it almost looks like it should be a bear or maybe an owl bear, except its face is wrong. It's almost as if it's been stitched together with a different animal. Like, half of it is a bear face, and the other half is reptilian. Its body is mismatched. It's got one large fur-covered arm and one, like, bird-like talon. And it looks wrong, but it just seems to slumber. And you hear Berlin go, my, this is quite the creation.
Something is experimenting in these woods.
Huh. Now, where did you come from? And a light spark, almost like a shock, like from too much static electricity, goes into the creature and it stirs. What do you do?
Oh boy. Man-made monstrosities are not my particular expertise, but is there any crossover in my past research of like what this could be?
Pretty sure you guys fought. Did you guys fight one? Yeah, you guys fought a creature, not quite this big. Pretty sure it was wolf-shaped before embarking on your mission. Right?
Right. I do remember that now. Shit.
Or were you guys all together for that? I know you guys fought a wolf-shaped thing. I just have to can't remember if it was during your one shot or if you as a party. Okay. It's like, I know Kira faced one.
Can I sort of reach out to the creature and get a vibe check on its blood?
I believe it was one shots. Only mention of wolf I have in the notes is regards to werewolves.
Okay.
Okay.
It was just me and River.
We had... It wasn't a wolf.
Okay.
But it was stitchery.
Okay. Okay.
Me.
Yeah. I was like, I'm pretty sure I had a couple of you face. I think
Yeah, I was
you
gonna
guys.
say.
Mm-hmm.
You guys
were the only one.
Creatures that were stitched together that weren't. Yes.
But yeah, I'll just reach out with my hemocraft, and I just want to like, does it have blood? Does the blood feel cursed?
Okay. It's not cursed blood. It's surprisingly well adjusted. Like, it just feels normal. It looks wrong, but everything about this creature otherwise, it feels right. Like, it's a successful creation rather than one that's suffering.
Oh dear. Something tells me that this forest is going to get worse before it gets better.
And I'm going to jump back to the camp. Can you roll a perception check for Quinn? She got a 13.
Okay. What am I doing? Gotta click on the select
What
tab.
are you doing?
What does this look like? Ooh.
Uh-oh.
Well, it's more like I was hoping that'd be better.
Smart, not wise.
14.
Okay. So with Liliana's warning in mind, she and Quinn occasionally they keep their watch, and everything at the camp appears to be fairly calm and chill. But at one point, they look back, and Liliana's sword light is gone. She would go over to Jade to wake her up. So she goes over and Jade, Liliana went away. I don't know where she went.
Yeah, I definitely wake up.
Who would Quinn go to? You can pick. You have your...
I have the next watch, so I'll go
Oh, okay.
Quid'll come to me, I guess, and just hug me gingerly with her princessy toe.
I love this so much. I give you some damn inspiration because I'm loving this. So I'm absolutely on this. So I'm gonna give you that. And that doesn't expire, so you can use that whatever you want. So Jade, you wake up, but she's shaking you. Anissa, you wake up. Quinn has poked you delicately with her slippered foot.
Sit upright super fast. I also have my bag under my feet today to try and mitigate necklace damage.
Okay.
What's happening? What's going on?
Liliana said that she was gonna go walk a little that way, but she put a light on her sword, and then there's no light over there. I could see her for a very long time, and then now it's gone.
I sort of look at Jade.
Which direction again?
And she will point off into the woods where Liliana wandered to. She made this really cool candy, though. Should try it. She's still munching away at it.
Well, I'll take some. I take some of the candy and I look at Jade. So, kind of pincer on in there.
I think if we're not back out there a certain amount of time, somebody should wake everybody else up too.
You do it. I'm good at waking people up.
Cool.
How much time did you say? 20 minutes?
No. I'm not going to be gone for it. If I'm not.
I don't know how far she went.
How far? She couldn't have gone that far. They could still see her sword. How far away was the sword? I asked Quinn, who would obviously know. Exactly.
The sword could be seen for about 50 or so feet, and then it winked out because there is still that faint bluish glow of light around you. Like, think Lothlorien.
Okay. About 50 feet away. Cool. So then I go back to just like motioning to Jade and kind of trying to make the motion so that we split up and kind of triangle at about, angle towards 50 feet where she was pointing. That makes sense?
Yeah.
All right.
We move.
Okay.
Stealthily.
Okay. And she is sitting there, like, poised, ready to attack the remaining two who are sleeping. Liliana, back with you and this morphed creature. So you vibe checked it. You blood checked it, excuse me.
Same difference. Berlin, why did you come this way? Did you sense this creature? Or is it just happy coincidence?
Definitely happy coincidence.
I feel
I'm
like
quite
that's
fascinated by this. Does this
Can I
happen
make an
frequently
insight
in
check?
the world? Absolutely. You can make an insight check.
fucking word this guy says. It's only a 12.
They don't appear to be lying. They seem pretty sure that this was just happy accident.
Right. Shit. How far away are we?
Oh, I didn't keep track of that. Thought you were doing that as you were just riding.
Well, it's kind of hard to see the tunnel.
Oh, it's waking up, and you hear a low growl as this thing begins to get up. It does a big stretch, and then
Berlin,
it's on its misshapen body. Yeah. Yes.
Have you ever fought with a sword before?
No, I'm absolutely delighted to try.
Give me back control of my body, please.
But I'm good with the magic stuff. I helped you with that weird magic drain thing.
We made a deal. Fine.
Wonderful.
If you get me killed again, you're shit out of luck.
I will say you can make a wisdom, a contesting wisdom or intelligence to try and wrestle his consciousness to the back of your mind.
Sure. No, that's not the deal we made.
Okay.
That's not the deal Liliana agreed to. She will, if he doesn't give back the wheel, then she'll just sit.
Okay. All right. It wakes up and I need to go look at your character sheet. All right. We're gonna go ahead, roll initiative as this thing begins to stir.
Oh, jeez.
Let's see, what's your initiative +4? You got a 19.
Nice.
And the weird stitched creature got a 14. Oh, right. 11. All right, so how this will probably work, you will get probably 2 rounds of combat before Anissa and Jade, you stumble upon the battle. Berlin is going to Berlin. Sorry, I'm reading a book, and that's the name of one of the characters in the book. Berlin goes to touch the creature and bane it. So he does that, and then it goes. Oh, it's spicy. Oh wait, -D4. Minus a D4 on the bane. Really, right off the desk. Rude. Okay. Well, that does not. It 19 plus -4, 15 does not hit your armor class. So round 2.
While this is happening, Liliana is being the most she's everyone's mom riding in the car when you first get your license. She's just the most tense, and she just wishes that she could dodge appropriately because Berlin is a mess.
Stomping on a brake pedal that isn't there.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay. So they go ahead and use your booming blade and go ahead and have that up. That is an action. And so, yeah. So then it goes. Oh, okay. And then bang. Okay, well, an 18 does hit you. So it does. Lovely. Okay, so you take 10 points of damage. And as your body recoils, oh, this thing is vile. You do it. And he does relinquish control. And at this time, Jade and Anissa, you start walking up, and you can hear the sounds of angered growling and like a grunt of pain. You are muted.
Are we too far away to see it? We're just hearing it right now.
You're right now. This is probably during like the second round of combat. You're a bit too far to see it, but you can hear it. So for the second round of combat, you approach the battle, and now we're at the top of the third. So, or the bottom of the second. Are you joining the battle or?
Yeah, I mean, I'll giant's might and just run into that clearing as I get large.
Okay, go ahead and roll your initiative.
Okay.
Initiative.
Natural 19 for 20.
Okay.
5.
All right. I will also say at this point, she gets a little anxious over the fact that you guys have been gone for so long. And she will wake up Kira and River. But we will go through a quick round of combat. 6 seconds. Anissa, you starting off. You're hitting this misshapen, stitched together, large bear-like creature.
Yep. Still running in, pulling out my longsword and my hammer. I'll come in with the hammer first and go bop, bop.
Okay.
Twice with that. Ah, fuck. Okay, so it is a dirty 20 on one.
That hits.
And 14 on the other.
Meets it, beats it.
Oh. Very exciting. Okay, so for the... Oh, wait, this adds another extra thing. Sorry. Okay. So for the first one with the Dwarven Frosthammer, come down across its face for 8 points of bludgeoning and 4... No, that's backwards. Sorry. 10 points of bludgeoning, 2 points of frost damage.
Okay.
And the second one is 1 less d6. And that'll be... sorry. Sorry, there was 4 more damage on the first bludgeoning.
Okay.
I did that incorrectly. And this is going to be 8 points of bludgeoning damage.
Okay.
And the full 6 points of frost damage.
Hey, yo!
And then as my bonus action with my longsword, I will stabbeth at it.
Stabbeth away.
I stabbeth, is that for 17 to hit.
That hits.
And that is the d8 again. For 10 points of slashing damage.
Nice.
I'm just war crying the entire time I'm running in there.
I love it. Large lady comes barreling in. Liliana, what does it look like when Barrelin relinquishes control to you?
I think since Barrelin doesn't really get the Hemocraft stuff, she's green, obviously, green fire. And the sword is fairly dim, and as she just melts down to blue and the face goes far more serious, the light just erupts out of the blade and starts shining again.
Love that. As it is now your turn.
Wunderbar. I will use my bonus action to curse this thing with the Blood Curse of the Marked.
Okay.
So basically, when I stab it and it takes right damage, it takes an additional die on top of that. And then I will swing at it twice.
Okay.
The first one is a 14.
That does hit. Meets it, beats it.
Fantastic. And the second one is a 12, so that misses.
That does miss.
Does this creature happen to be considered undead?
No.
Okay, figured.
Does appear to be living.
Awesome. Then it will take. Man, that was a terrible roll. It will take 12 points of damage.
Okay.
3 of that is radiant.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, just for posterity's sake. Oh, never mind. That is my turn.
Okay. It is now its turn, and it's still a little discombobulated. It just woke up from sleep, and now it's got a very large humanoid attacking, as well as a glowing humanoid. It is going to go ahead and turn on Anissa, since you've done the absolute most damage, and it is going to give you a bite of 17 to hit. 10 plus 7. Okay. And then it is going to slash at you with its claws. And that is a 19 plus 7, so 26 to hit.
That'll do it.
Okay. And the claws are 2d6. And that is 9 or 13 points of slashing damage.
Golly gee whiz.
And that is it for its turn. Jade, you're up.
Alright. Jade's gonna rush out of the bushes with 2 swords and try to swing both of them. 19.
Yep, that'll hit.
Five points of damage.
Okay.
Swing again. Ooh, natural 1.
That does not hit. All right. Anything else you would like to do on your turn?
I could bonus action flurry of blows.
Yeah, you got. I'm pretty sure you got 2 hits, 2 attacks plus bonus action. Well, yeah, 2 attacks in your thing.
17 plus 6 to hit.
Yep, that'll hit. You said 24.
7 points.
Perfect. All right. Anything else?
I did not roll the damage for the second hit.
Oh, okay.
Perfect. 7 again, so 14 points total.
Okay. Perfect. All right, River and Kira, you are awoken with a frantic Chi pushing, like, they haven't gone yet!
Wait, what?
They're gone! The Liliana disappeared and she had a sword and it was glowing and then it disappeared and now you got Anissa and Jade up and then they disappeared and now they haven't come back and now I'm scared.
Okay.
What do we do?
Okay. Calm down,
pointing?
deep breath.
Yeah, she's absolutely that way.
River's gonna pull out her sending stone to Liliana.
Okay.
Lily, darling, what the fuck are you up to?
Bit busy, love. You might want to start making your way towards me. Northwest?
Oh, Kira, looks like we're missing quite the brawl. And
Yep, let's go.
River's
Chase, stay here.
Chi, stay here.
Don't-
Watch the puppy. Protect him.
Okay.
I'll watch Chi.
Good idea.
It's gotta sit right next to Quinn.
Quinn sit next to a pile of leaves that's holding a puppy.
Yeah, absolutely. The leaves wrap around the puppy, and the puppy's just like, wait.
Stay, and then Misty step in that direction and start moving.
Yeah, running. Yeah.
Okay, if you guys want to go ahead and roll initiative, you will join at the bottom of the next one. All right, so we are back to the top. Anissa.
I'm gonna slash at it some more. Starting with the hammer.
Okay.
2 mighty swings.
Get it.
Okay. 14 for one, so that'll hit, and natural 15 on the other. Also a hit.
Absolutely.
So first one with the giant smite damage and the frost. Ooh, so wait, no, it's backwards. 8 plus. So it'll be. Oh, no, that's not right. 9 points of bludgeoning damage.
Okay.
And 5 points of frost damage.
Okay.
And the second hit with the hammer is for 8 points. No, 8 plus 4. 12 points of bludgeoning damage and 2 points of frost damage.
Okay.
And they're still up and doing stuff?
Absolutely.
Okay, good for them. And I'll stab again with the sword, just bringing it down.
Okay.
Unwieldily.
It is looking a little damaged. Little hurt. It's got a few cuts and bruises.
Damaged. Alright, 18 to hit plus whatever, 7 or something.
That hits.
Yeah, cool. This is just the sword. It's only looking a little damaged. Oof.
It is only 1, and you are all level 6.
No, just let us just one-shot this thing, please. Okay, so it is 9 points of slashing damage with the sword.
Okay. Anything else?
I'll just swear under my breath in giant and stand there.
Okay. Liliana. Your turn.
Sure, fantastic. Love that. Liliana will sort of jam the sending stone back into her pocket. And I will cast Booming Blade. So, let's see if I hit. Or, excuse me, first, I'll use my bonus action to mark it again.
Okay.
Because that's the good stuff. And then that is a natural 20, which I think hits.
Actually, it misses. Yes, it hits.
Whoa, that's so wild.
It's pretty crazy.
I would actually cry if you did that.
I would never do that. I enjoy natural 20s too much.
Fantastic.
Everything except natural 20s.
So that is 4d8 and 4d6.
That is one of my favorite puzzles. So.
A dice.
So many dice.
Remember how you're just rolling one set of dice because the other one does complete max damage.
Right, that is correct. I definitely knew that.
One crit. I hate it. It's the worst.
That is fair. I will roll properly then. Oh, that's a lot of damage. Okay.
What is the normal max?
The normal max for this attack would be 20 damage.
Beautiful.
24 damage plus the modifier.
Beautiful.
So that will be 44 points of no. Sorry. 34 points of damage.
Okay. This thing lets out a yelp as you carve into it. Anything else you would like to do?
Oh, fucking... I'll move like 10 feet back.
Okay.
I assume it will swing at me.
Yes, it will get an opportunity attack on you.
'Tis fine. It is baned.
Yes, correct. All right, so that is 15. So it's a 19 to hit.
19 still hits.
Okay. It's slashing at you with its claws. However, it only does 9 points of slashing damage. 5 plus 4.
I do fail my concentration check on Bane, however.
Okay, so Bane is dropped. All right, it is now the Chimera's turn. It is going to turn back on Anissa, and it is going to bite at you and then slash at you with its claws. The bite is 21 to hit.
Yeah, that hits.
Okay. 11 points of damage, and the second hit, that is a 19. So I don't.
That meets that.
Okay. So.
1/2 a sec. Just let me read something real quick.
Okay.
No, continue with what you're doing.
Oh, okay. That is 5 plus 4, 9 points of damage.
Okay. All right. If that is the end of its turn, I have a thing for it to do.
Okay, that is the end of its turn.
I say, you fucker, and have it make a wisdom saving throw. The DC of 15.
All right. Ooh, that is a 16 plus 2, 18.
That's cool. That's cool.
I'm sorry.
So, yeah, just you fucker.
Okay. All right.
Its feelings are hurt just a little bit.
Yeah, it kind of like,
Glad I heard its feelings, at least.
All right. Jade, you're up.
Doing 2 sword swings again.
Okay.
The 19 hit.
That
the
hits.
First one. That's 9 damage on that.
It's 9?
Yeah.
Okay.
9.
Okay.
The second one, another 19.
Yep.
4 points of damage.
Okay.
And I'll bonus action unarmed strike one more time. 7, 6.
7 plus 6?
17 plus 6.
Oh, yes, that does hit.
Another 9 points of damage.
Okay. Starting to look not so great. Anything else you would like to do with your turn?
Staying right up this girl.
All right. River and Kira, what are your initiatives?
15.
12.
All right.
Just as they're running, River to Kira is just like, Liliana and Quinn, never on watch unless they have an adult.
Nope, never.
All right, we are back to the top with Anissa.
All right, I'm just sitting here looking angry and bloody. And I know we're theatering of the minding it, but if I'm not flanking someone, I would like to scooch into flanking.
Okay, absolutely, because Jade is right up on it. Liliana left, so you can absolutely scooch to flank it without leaving its melee range.
Okay.
So, that good advantage.
So yes, I'm going to just start trying to bonk it. Just a few bonks.
Give it some good bonks.
Okay, so the first one will be natural 12 plus 7 to hit.
Yep.
So let's scroll's the right spot. Sorry, eh? Oh. Okay, and that'll be for the second one. Natural 18.
Yep.
And the first one with Giant's Might, and then the hammer is going to be... Ooh, no, this goes like this. 7 plus 4 is 11 points of bludgeoning damage.
Okay.
And 4 points of frost damage.
Beautiful.
And then for the second hammer strike, 9 points of bludgeoning damage and 3 points of frost damage.
All right.
And then I'm coming in with the sword.
Get it.
For 21 to hit.
Yep, that'll hit.
And that's just the 8. Okay, for 10 points of slashing damage.
Okay. It's looking rough.
It's still up and hanging on and living its
not looking great.
Okay, in that case, I'm gonna go ahead and action surge.
Okay.
And just really try and murder this little fella.
I think you can do
murder.
it.
Oh, both those went up again. Okay. Dirty 20 to hit on the first one. And on the second swing, natural 17.
Yep, both hit.
40 hit. Alright, and the first one is going to be 12 points of slashing damage.
Okay.
And bludgeoning damage, sorry. And 6 points of frost damage.
Okay.
And the second one is 9 points. Oh, no, sorry. 5 points of frost damage and 9 points of bludgeoning damage. I was correct.
It is hanging on by a thread.
So I've just been pinwheeling my little arms, trying real hard, and it's still just hanging on. And I go, battle cry. That's not an actual thing that I have, but I'm just mad. And I will stay where I am.
Okay, Liliana, you're up.
Oh, I've got to be the one to steal it? Ah, that's...
Sorry.
I feel so terrible.
Finish what you've started.
Liliana just spends her turn going, no, please, go ahead. It's all you. No, I'll,
How Midwestern of you.
Yeah, right. I'll swing at it.
Okay.
Surprisingly enough. That is a 17 to hit.
Yep, that'll hit. Gotta do 5.
I do a minimum of 5 damage, so.
Okay. Yeah, how do you want to do this?
I think after this flourishing display of stamina and precision from Anissa, just carefully hacking and carving around the thing as it is recoiling from the many hits, Liliana just dink with her rapier and it dies.
Beautiful. This thing crumbles to the ground. And lays in its misshapen lump of a mess. As River and Kira, you enter the clearing where this battle was happening.
Good stab, I say to Liliana.
Oh, that was mostly you. I was just clean up crew.
Kind of look to River well, I guess they didn't need our help after all.
Guess not.
Sorry, didn't mean to. I don't know, but it looks sort of like the thing we encountered in the labyrinth, doesn't it?
Oh yeah.
You've seen something like this too?
Not quite as animalistic. Ours was more human.
Or as well put together.
Yeah.
I saw one that looked kind of like a wolf. It was... Hold on. And I'd like to divine sense real quick, recalling what I found out about the last one.
Okay. I have to remember. The last one was...
It was... Hold on.
It's been a hot minute. I'm sorry.
Well, she's doing that. River's just gonna kind of
It was fiendish, is what the last one was.
Okay.
River's gonna get a little bit closer and just kind of look it over.
Okay. Yeah, this one actually doesn't appear to be fiendish in nature. It just wrong.
Okay.
River, what are you doing? And then we'll take our break. I'm sorry.
I guess she's just looking it over. I guess, like, just investigating it, see if anything about it seems weird or off to her.
Okay. You look at where it's been stitched together, and it looks as if the skin has fused to be almost like inseparable. Like it almost looks as if it was born that way, but very clearly was not.
Is that similar to what the creatures we saw? Or is this
the creatures you saw before were more obviously like stitched together? This is like
it had healed and been here years.
Yeah. This one looks as if it's been like it was a natural 20 in a creation process, whereas those were like borderline because they were still could move and live, but they weren't as flawless as this creature is.
They've certainly stepped up their game, mastered their technique or whatever they were doing.
I wonder what exactly they've been practicing on, but I think we're in it.
And with that, we're going to take a short break because I'm very hungry and I need water. So we're going to take a short break and we'll be back very shortly to figure out what's going on. All right, friends, we will see you real soon. Don't go anywhere. We got lots of fun stuff coming up. Yeah.
Hello.
Hello.
We're back. We missed you.
We made it back.
We were gone so long I ate a pillow. What?
I did it.
It's true, I was there.
Yeah, but it's that.
My response whenever someone leaves me alone for too long. All right, where we last left off our intrepid heroes, who may or may not still need a name, they were discussing their past encounters with creatures very similar to this misshapen bear thing. Was there anything else you guys wanted to do with the bear creature? The bear that's not quite a bear. It's got...
Does it have large teeth?
Yes. Half of its jaw is very much bear. The other half is reptilian, so it's got like retractable teeth. Like a snake.
That seems like something you maybe shouldn't touch. I will try and rip out a bear tooth to add to my tooth collection.
Yeah, you're very... I'll say you've done this before, so you can like carve out... Are you carving out one of its canines?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Good.
Oh, yeah.
Good.
Oh, yeah.
Uh-huh. Oh, yeah, sure.
You do get the canine out.
Betcha.
Oh, yeah, you betcha. They're the most threatening-looking ones.
Uh-huh.
It's gonna scooch on past the molar there.
Uh-huh.
It's my favorite accent. I love it. I love it so much.
Is there a nest or anything that it had, like, I don't know, findings? I don't know if a creature has belongings or anything else in this area that it might have brought.
I'd say you roll that investigation or perception for that there search.
Follow up.
Choose?
Yeah, why not?
Are there signs of any other creatures like this in the area?
Roll me a survival check.
Good idea.
Oh.
That's a 16.
9.
Okay, a 9 and a 16. The 9, you look around and there's a lot of footprints around here, but they all sort of seem to fit the size of the creature. Your 16, there appears to be like this was its like bed of sorts. There's like some animal bones and some rocks and stuff kind of situated around to create the most comfortable spot that it could have. But other than that, it doesn't really have anything of like humanoid importance. Oh.
Did it? What happened? Did it attack you or something? What?
I stumbled upon it, and yes, when it woke up, it started attacking me. I think, considering what we saw across the river, that there's something working in these forests at the moment.
Something like what?
Something that's good with a needle and thread?
Well,
That doesn't sound very good in any way. Okay.
the legend has it that this forest is connected to the big tree, right? The undying
Supposedly.
tree. And the leaves on that are starting to fall. Well, what do we think is? Do we think it's the big tree is affecting all the roots, or do we think the root is affecting the big tree?
That
What if-
did occur to me, but
What if whatever's in the river is poisoning the tree? It would have a wide root system.
I think that might be more likely the case, just because it seemed like everything was coming from that river, and everything. Not you, river, but that
I was gonna say, I didn't do anything yet.
But it seemed at least all the desecration was stemming from there, and then everything on that side. Maybe if the Evertree's got all that magic, maybe it's doing something to protect what's on this side.
So could the river be
I don't
acting as
know.
a barrier? Because it's only attacking the one side, so maybe it's whatever's going on is on that side, and the river's stopping it
Or-
from encroaching this side.
And maybe the magic of the tree is preventing it from
That's true.
encroaching on this side.
But do you
Let's head back to camp, walk and talk. Go.
do you think the magic would have, like, as the tree got more poison, sort of gone off incrementally?
Maybe that whatever desecration's going on over there, it's powerful. It's really, really strong.
Liliana, you know about poisons?
I know about poisons generally, but I've never seen this substance before. For whatever it is, it's certainly more concentrated in the river. I couldn't, goodness, losing my accent. I couldn't even get a sample out of it. It shattered my vial, and it bore a hole through some fairly well insulated animal skin, so I would assume that it's quite acidic. I could try. Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's fine. Go.
I will admit that while I have a basic understanding of alchemy, like most people in my order, I'm not an expert, but I could get in contact with some. Whatever this is, I'm not entirely sure we're equipped to handle it right now.
And whatever it is, I don't know if it's just poison. I mean, it's definitely not just like something died up river or something. It's serious business, whatever's going on there. Like you said, more than we can handle.
Maybe they know more about it in the city.
That's what I was curious about, if this is a recent development or if it's been growing for a while.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they'd be the ones to ask. It's gotta be people. Big enough city, I think there would be, I don't know, scholars and, I don't know.
Somebody surely worked
Clerics.
up into a panic already.
Yes, they have to know what's going on at their borders. It's
Yeah.
the capital.
Yeah, probably people who are trying to figure it out already.
At least so.
But
I will hope for the best, but ignorance is a powerful drug of choice.
I mean, someone had to have been previously drinking from this river, so that'll get back to people in charge. Or they're these things now, and I kind of poke it with my foot. I don't know how evil stuff works.
Speaking of the body, is it decaying? Like at a rapid pace or anything like that?
yeah.
Roll me a survival check.
Oh, dearie me.
It's not undead, and it's not
It's not terrible.
fiendish
It's
either.
13.
13?
Fine.
Okay. No, it's just kind of there. Dead body
Can I-
still.
Chop off one of its limbs and take it with me.
Ugh.
They're large, very large.
Yeah, that's why it's only one.
Are you going for its bird-like leg, its bear-like leg, its
Is there more of one creature type? Like, does it seem predominantly bear or predominantly avian?
It's more front half, like half of its snout and arm are bear, but then it's got the reptilian, almost snake-like
right, yeah.
face with a bird claw. It's got a long snake-like tail. It's got like a big cat leg in the back, as well as a slender like wolf leg as well. Like,
I'll just go with the front bear limb,
yeah.
and I'll smell it, see if it smells like freshly killed bear.
With your 13 survival, yeah, absolutely. It does smell like there's definitely an off twang to it. Like as you cut it off, the blood doesn't smell like, it doesn't have that iron and rust scent that blood normally has. It's more of like blood, iron, and something else. Almost like, not necessarily acrid, but like
Bitter, almost.
Yeah. Like you're cutting this leg off, and you're like, that's not normal, but it doesn't appear to have hindered the creature at all. But other than that, like if you lift up the leg and like you don't smell like where it's wounded, it smells like a bear, just with something else.
You're not gonna eat that, are you?
No, I'm going to dunk it in the river and see what happens.
Oh. Okay.
Okay.
That
That makes sense.
Haven't tried flesh yet.
Huh.
And I'll just start walking back toward the river.
Should we grab?
There were those things that we're watching from the. Okay.
Do we want to grab? Anissa, you want to chop off a section that's two sides fused together, and see if the river. Last time we did this, we did something, and the addition side kind of melted off, and because it was people, and then the people returned to their original states. So
he might have just chopped off someone's arm as
Yeah, but Liliana just took a whole section of the same section. Maybe if we took a section that's a little bit both, we can see if the river is the same substance of what Lily and I have encountered before. I know it's a long shot.
So you want me to cut up this sewn together monster thing some more?
I mean, a little bit more than what you've already done, yes, if you don't mind.
I mean, I was cutting it, I was fighting it before, and now you just want me... Lilia, I just call after Lilia. Like, do you need more parts of this thing?
Yes, this is just all I could carry.
What the... This is just... This is terrible. I just grab it by its... It has a what tail? What kind of tail?
A reptilian, snake-like tail.
I will grab it by its snake tail and just, I guess, start dragging it towards...
Okay, just give me, just for funsies, a strength check. Just for funsies. I'm sure you're gonna do it swimmingly, but just for funsies, because you're a little caught off guard by the fact that... What?
Well, I mean, is it at all an athletics check? Because I'm just,
absolutely.
just... Yeah,
you just want to, haul this thing up
I'm just, flexing ye old guns, engaging my core, getting my eyes just real muscular looking, and just trying to carry this as safely and smoothly as possible.
Could River assist her by having her shove, kind of just shoving it a little bit every so often?
Just...
Yeah. Hey, she could technically move it 5 feet, every 6 seconds.
Oh yeah, go for it.
Okay. Oh, that's better. Okay, so it's what is that? 23.
Okay, you are able to lift this large, conjoined creature. It is a little bit of slow moving, but you're you're just this is a heavy, awkward weight that I have to carry and have to finagle. But you do get it back to your camp.
Oh yeah, getting my reps in, going to the river.
Quinn, those muscles.
All right. Anybody else doing anything back at the fighting thing, or are we
just watching all of that happen? I do have a question though, DM.
Yes.
So if I recall correctly,
okay,
the wolf-like things that I saw before meeting the party, their blood had a sort of oozy kind of viscous kind of quality to it. Is this one similar?
No.
Okay. All right.
I would say roll me an intelligence check.
Yeah.
Not on my notes anymore.
All right. That's a 15.
15? Okay, you would know that they're, looking at this blood, this appears to be regular blood. Okay. It just doesn't have the scent of regular blood. There's something else there. Whereas that other creature, that was a failed creation of two that was wolf and something else. Yeah. These are at least all animals.
Gotcha. Oh, okay. Cool. Okay, cool. I will just follow back towards camp.
Okay. Jade, you doing anything?
Staying far away from the fleshy bits.
Okay. All right. Okay, so you guys get back to camp. She kind of perks up seeing you come back, Liliana, and then is why do you have a leg? Arm?
Cover the
Did you have a bear? Science?
Kind of.
And then you start walking by, and then she sees Anissa. What is that?
Not sure.
Hold on to the puppy.
Okay.
Yes. You probably don't want it to eat any of the loose bits that likely wouldn't sit in its stomach well. Although, considering
No.
it might be fine.
No.
Well, fine.
No.
Maybe
One
we
thing at a time.
just feed the puppy normal flesh.
All right. And I'll go over and dunk the leg into the. I'll wrap a rope around the ankle of the bear leg, then kick the flesh into the leg so that I can kind of like control how much of it is underwater.
River's on watch.
Okay. So, you're just throwing it in there?
Just
Or-
like with the rope, I'm gonna like lower it in to see how it does.
Okay. You go and just lower it in, and it just sits on top of the water for a second. The water almost seems to resist it for a moment before it starts to bubble and eat at the flesh.
That is unpleasant, I say, as I plop down this.
It begins to smell very bad, right by the river.
I'm gonna back up over nearer to Jade.
Also at the river, you guys get that sense of being watched again.
What color, since we just fought this thing, what color were its eyes versus the eyes we saw across the river?
Looking at it, its eyes were a pale yellow green that almost seemed to glow. The eyes across the river are varying between yellow with a faint hint of green and red. More yellow than.
Also, like anyone else think maybe this is one of the things from across the river, or it could. I just don't want things to be crossing and attacking us. I'd like to.
Yeah.
I'll hold up the stump of what's left of the leg and say, "Don't think it's safe for them to cross the river either."
But what if they do that thing that some lizards do where they run super fast on just their back legs and then they're like across in like 3 seconds?
Could I kick the corpse into the river?
Yeah, you'll have to give me a strength or
boy.
athletics.
Sure. I'm
doing it.
athletic.
If you're doing it by yourself anyway.
I'm so strong. What do you mean?
River.
That is a 4.
You go to kick this thing, it is thick.
Ow, shit.
Shove it 5 feet.
You want that in the river all the way?
Yes, please.
I'd shove it into the river.
Don't make it splash.
I shove it
Be
gently
careful.
into the river.
Okay.
lovingly.
You push this thing into the river, and as you're pushing it in, it resists very, very slightly. It's like almost a second of this top layer not letting it in, and then as it goes in, it begins eating at the flesh. Once you get the entire thing in, it hovers and then begins to dip into the water as it slowly gets eaten by this
Is there obvious
river.
separation at all? Or is it just okay.
No. You would know that what happened in that probably had more to do with the bubble that was around the area rather than like just death and consumption sort of thing.
Worth a shot. We don't know what's in the river. Oh.
True enough.
Are we done with science? Can we get out
Can we
of here?
go? Can we get?
Yes.
Yeah.
What time is it right now?
Too early.
2, 3 in the morning.
Too late.
Same difference.
At this point, I think it's just push on ahead and we'll find a bed in town.
Has anyone gotten a watch? Or a rest, or are we still... No?
Can we just sleep a little longer?
No, you have not gotten a long rest. Jade and Anissa are probably at their long rest, but the rest of you have only probably gotten 3 to 5 hours.
Well, we would have been getting our asses kicked post long rest.
Yes.
Yeah, cool.
Did we even make it to that? Because we got up during the second watch.
Yeah, it was towards the end. Yeah,
Oh, you're right. You're right.
During the second watch, yeah.
No, you did not. Because it was during the second watch. That.
We can just a few more hours here. We've already got everything set up. It's not like we have much. I mean, just a little more sleep and then we can get going.
Right. It's about your two's watch anyway, so the rest of us bed down and leave at the crack of dawn.
I'd rather us be well rested if something happens on our way. So, I don't know about you, but...
Are you guys still by the... Are you guys back at camp? Or are you still by the river?
Talk.
Yeah, would have been moving to camp.
Back to camp.
Okay. You do have Chi and Quinn who are still sitting back at camp.
Yeah, they would have gotten a lot. No, they wouldn't have. Quick math.
I bet that was very awkward.
Yeah, me, Quinn, and Chi got to go back to sleep before we can get ours.
River and Kira too.
Mm-hmm.
Only a few hours. Besides, you're our two best fighters. We'll be fine.
I'm alright.
I mean, I have like a nosebleed, cut lip. Yeah, but great. I like pop down on the log and start like sharpening a sword a little too hard and a little too loudly.
Anissa!
Yeah, go back to doing it quiet. I was just letting my feelings be known.
I'll take a nap if you want to.
Fine, this is restful.
If you want, you can use this as a short rest time, and then just Jade can do perception check, or you could assist and either roll or one of you roll at advantage.
I can't perceive and short rest. It's technically part of
It is an hour to do a short rest. And it's just you can't do anything more than just sitting around. If I recall correctly. Nope, that's that period of downtime, at least 1 hour long, during which character does nothing more strenuous than eating, drinking, reading, and tending to wounds. So if you are... I feel like if you're doing perception, you are like actively looking around the camp, walking a perimeter.
I will act like I am 100% on this watch while tending to my wounds.
Okay. So Jade, give me that perception check.
$13.
13? Okay. Everything seems pretty quiet and chill. you're back at your camp away from the river, and you do feel that sense of calm as you sit and watch. You do notice that as time drones on, the blue light that was night begins to fade and shift. It goes from being blue to a gray to a yellow as the sun would rise beyond the canopy of trees. But nothing appears to happen during your watch. Morning comes.
Long rest.
Yeah, you get your long rest.
Since the fight was right in the middle of second watch, would Anissa get her long rest?
Ooh, but my stuff comes back on a short rest. No, because I had a short rest to do that.
Yeah, so it would have been a short rest.
I'm also good with just a short rest because I have all my things back.
Okay.
Fighter.
We love fighters. Love fighters in this household. All right, friends, are you doing anything upon waking up for the
hustling?
All right, eating your breakfast and setting out.
Yeah, I think so.
All right. What is your marching order the same as it was the day before? You've got, I believe it was Liliana and Anissa in the front, Jade, she in the middle with River and Kira in the back, and Quinn also in the middle.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. My friends in the front and the back, or anybody who's keeping tabs, go ahead, roll me a perception check.
Perception. Ooh, a solid 3.
A solid 6. Hey,
Nice.
6.
Hey.
16
right.
for Kira.
Okay.
10. For River.
Okay, Kira. You notice.
Perceptive one.
You notice as you're walking. Oh, what did Quinn get? If you want to roll for her.
She's reading a book.
She's reading. All right, we'll leave her at reading. Kira, you notice that as you are traveling down this path, at first you come across a few people, and then more. And as you continue, the roads become more and more crowded. People with carts lugging all sorts of belongings, pulled by all sorts of creatures. Some people are just carrying them themselves. But everyone seems to be heading in the same direction. A few people are camped out on the side of the road as you near the city, and it's not long before you can see it in the distance. And everyone can see this. Kira's just the first one to notice it. In the distance, you see a large tree, almost the size of the mountains that stretch up behind it. But it is a tree, so not mountainous. But its tall trunk is probably as big as any city that you've ever been to. The leaves stretch up high into the sky, and you are surprised to see that the leaves that should be green and glowing with magic are a faint yellow and red and brown as you near the capital city of Eurasia, Olathe. What are you guys doing?
Well, I don't think that bodes well.
No.
Definitely not. The people around us, now that we can all see them, do they look like they are all headed towards the city, and do they look like they are like fleeing, or do they look like merchants? Do they just look like they're on vacation?
You have traveled around enough to know that these are very obviously refugees fleeing something. As you travel, you can hear a few of them muttering about, "Oh, there's darkness in this world, and it's beginning to spread. Oh no, the great..." And another family, "The great tree, it's not supposed to be this color. It's supposed to always be green. But the world outside of this is so much worse." And yeah, did you hear about the murder in that manor over in Helden? No, that's not nearly as crazy as the king getting killed over down in Rilla, and just a whole bunch of chatter going off all around. You hear someone mention, I hear those murderous pirates from Neria are gathering together a band to come and raid us, and they're going to take over the whole continent for their barbarous ways. And it just kind of peppers all around you, each one a little different, but all talking about this chaos and darkness that is beginning to pop up around the world.
These people, they say
rising
the
darkness,
is rising.
you might say.
Did I do the thing? I did the thing. It's my favorite thing to do.
That's the name of the show.
Whoa!
I did the thing.
Do you think we'll have trouble getting into the city?
I hope not. Do you think we would? Do you think we would?
I think sometimes people, when they get scared, start locking people out. But if we don't know, we won't know till we get there, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, locked doors never stopped us before.
Fair.
River's gonna pop her hood up. She's got a little puppy in the thing. But is there any sort of, like, there's lots of whispers about the murders. Is there anything about, like, anyone sliding into control as the current leaders are being offed? Is there any rumors of, like...
That doesn't... Well, a perception. Or, yeah, perception check.
Yeah, not great. That's a 5.
No, everyone just appears to be too taken away by the fact that the king was murdered, and that burned down house was found right next to the capital, or right next to the castle. In
I'm gonna re-roll a sorcery point.
Okay.
Natural 20.
Okay. Natural 20. No one seems to be talking about other people kind of sliding in and taking over. You do notice that with the talk of the king who was murdered, they talk about how I hear the king and queen here have stepped away. Do you think that's the reason why the tree is not doing so well, because the king and queen are gone? Yeah, well, I'm pretty sure it's because they're going to the coronation. Or do you think it's because they're fleeing because of the murderer over up in Helden? And sort of go all the way around. You do also catch a couple names that are dropped as you continue your traveling up to the gates of the tree. And you hear the names... Yeah, what wasn't that that famous fashion designer over in Helden? What were their names? I think it was them. The ones who dressed the king and queen? Yeah, I think so. It says they were burned alive. And you hear the name Marsh thrown around. You also hear oh yeah, and I hear that, what's his name? Kyle? Kill? I don't know. I hear his coronation's gonna be in a couple weeks. Those are the names that you do pick up as you're traveling forward.
She will relay the gossip to the group.
Okay. As you continue forward, you notice that the throng of people is a lot bigger, and there does appear to be a commotion at the base of this miles-long trunk as the entrance to the tree city of Aletha. And you watch as a tall man, looks to be a male, with long ears and tufts coming out of them, kind of stands with his arms crossed, like, come on, what is this? Are they gonna let anybody in? Ugh. Been out here for 3 days.
Why aren't they letting anyone in?
Didn't you hear? King and Queen aren't here.
And
So
people can't come in if the king and queen are gone?
No, apparently not.
Well, that's dumb.
That's what I said.
Any whisperings of where the king and queen went?
Yeah, there's well, what I've heard is that they're actually going to seek help for why the tree is not, its normal green. But I'm just a merchant. I'm just looking to sell some stuff. Get some resupply before I continue on to the trading post over in Isrona. It's nearing that time, so.
Is whatever time they're referring to well known?
Yes, it is like the greatest market in this country, where all the farmers and merchants go to a singular location and look to sell, trade, and get new imports, exports, all that good stuff for their respective homes.
So to be clear, the city is inside the tree.
Yes.
Is it like mangrove-y root system and this is just kind of like fenced off, or is it like a solid trunk with no other entrance situations?
So there are multiple entrances into it, but it is like a solid trunk, and this is just one of the lines to get into it. Like there's you guys are probably surrounded by like small, just like outlying little village-esque that kind of just lives in the shadow of the capital itself, but it's everything that really happens inside the trunk of the tree.
If River peeks ahead, can she see like what the guards look like, what the blockage situation's looking like?
Yeah, so you look ahead and there are 4 figures of varying sizes in gold glittering mail and plate. And one is kind of standing in front of the other 3, but all have their weapons drawn, if not like in a threatening pose, in a like, hey, just remember we have these kind of.
Are there like any carts or anything off the side that would like give a moment of privacy?
Yeah.
All right, well, I guess that's screw it. She's gonna like motion the group to kind of take a step with her, make sure she's covered, she's going to cast alter self to look like a guard that has been like beat up, part of the armor stolen, but then do a disguise self over that so she looks like a pristine guard. So if someone were to investigate the illusion, they would see that it looks like a guard who's been beat up but is trying to like. So.
Okay. Does alter self change your clothes, or is it just your physical appearance?
Alter self will change my physical appearance, I believe. All right, even better. She'll be a naked guard, and then she'll be on top of that. Be it so like a bloodied like black eye, and then the top one will be like the guard uniform.
Okay.
I think, except I guess she'd have her usual clothes underneath it, right? Hold on, let me double check this spell.
Unless you take those clothes off.
Debating. Hold on, let me look at what this spell does if you guys want to discuss an alternative. Otherwise, she's going to run this idea by you of Miss Smarty Pants here is a student. I think she could easily pass off that she's been investigating something to do with the tree and she needs to get in immediately. Or she's a student who's been separated for something and we're all here either to guard her and, hey, I'm your friendly guard here to make sure they get in the gate because everyone's being really shut down and she's been very rudely given access. I don't know. If you guys got better ideas, let me see what my shit does.
Can I just throw out good old-fashioned bribery?
Oh, we could do that too. I guess.
I mean, yeah, we could do that.
Well, I mean...
I don't think asking nicely would work very well. So maybe the other ideas would be a better idea.
Mine's a bit complicated, so simple could always work.
I mean, I do like a good complicated plan. Especially when it's free to start with, but if we get caught and then get arrested, we'd also be inside the tree city. Maybe we just go with the complicated one. I'm liking this. Well, we'd lose our money probably then anyway. We'll work on it.
All right, so yeah, alter self would be her physical attributes. Disguise self would be the disguise
illusion.
self part is the illusion. So technically, it could be more, but I just want it specifically to be the armor.
Okay.
So slightly beat up from, like, I guess similar equivalent to what they look like, but her altered self would be like kind of beat up. God damn it, am I stripping or not? Because they see through that part. That's the problem. Screw it. Yep. Clothes are coming off.
You're taking them off?
Yep.
Just in the middle of the street.
We're behind the
we'll do like that.
Yeah, we're privacy circled. We're privacy circled.
Yeah.
Consider the cart. It'll be fine.
Your question is yes, by the way, and I will deduct. But this is also
okay.
Subtly.
Okay.
Oh God, this is gonna be so expensive.
It is gonna be very expensive.
Surprised we don't just make Quinn go up to the gate.
Can you do it twice?
Which one?
Yeah, the one.
It should just be. It would be casting it twice.
It will.
So it would go from one illusion to the another illusion.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. Love it.
All right. So
Incredible.
I have math to figure this out. If you guys either want to figure out next steps or backup plan, or if you want to describe what the heck the situation is, I've got. Wait, one of these is free.
I don't have anything better.
So we'll try this, followed up with bribery, then I'll get arrested, and then we'll just break out. That's the plan, right?
I really love the convolutedness of this plan so much. However, I would like to think that Quinn might suggest using her status.
Yeah.
Oh, I have a signet ring or something. That's a real thing.
Yeah.
I love the convolutedness of this plan. I love it so much.
Do we want to start with Quinn? If this doesn't work, try another door.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can
Good
try.
idea.
Let Quinn,
okay.
let Quinn
we'll go
flex
stick with-
that money.
Yeah.
I like
Okay.
toss River cloak and stuff back. Like your
Yeah,
shoes.
just everyone just clean up. Look your best.
DM, I guess if this would have gone down like River suggested, and as she starts playing, she would have cast the first one.
Okay. And that's the freebie one, right?
That's the freebie one, but it's still
Okay.
subtle, so that's the sorcery point. So she's still, at this point, it's still River, just rebuttoning her. So it's like, fine.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
is prestidigitating everyone.
Absolutely. Okay. Yes. So you all get nice and clean. All right. I will say, I'm trying to think if she would flash her. She would probably do her family. Stuff. And if not, I will apologize to Jess next time. But Quinn goes up to the guards, and she, as you are walking up, she says, "Let me do all the talking." Or, you want to say it?
Let me do all the talking. It's mediocre. Anissa just stands behind her and does the thing where you like make your big muscles like look even big, just like pushing her arms out, like intimidation.
Are we doing that? Okay.
Yeah,
Jira tries to do the same thing, is not very good at it. She's got armor, it's not effective.
Right, I mean, like, we just...
All right.
Plate mail and chain mail and whatever.
Yeah.
Like, is
All
this right?
Since she's not here, I'm just going to leave this up to rolls. So if you could roll a persuasion or deception, whichever one you want to do for Quinn, to try and convince these guards to let you all in.
You're helping a whole bunch by being intimidating?
You are absolutely being intimidating. They're kind of like... as you approach the guards, you can tell that the one on the outside kind of like side-eyes you and then like elbows his companion, and then she kind of is just like, oh. They're not used to seeing a group of adventurers. They're used to the rundown refugees from their outskirting villages. So they just kind of like look, and then the small gnome woman kind of goes, yes, we got. And the he's wearing he's a very large, big, boned man with a flat nose, reddish brown furred skin, or like fur on his face, and he kind of turns and he goes, What y'all doing here? And
Quinwoods.
words.
Use fancy words.
Alright, go ahead, roll persuasion or deception at advantage as you are all kind of coming up behind her.
Ooh, was a dirty 20.
Dirty 20, okay. I have to... Pretty sure her last name is Rathmore, but I have to double check. Okay, thank you. Miss Rathmore, are your parents with you? No, they're not with you. Oh, of course. I'm so sorry we kept you out here for so long. Please, bring you and your retinue right on in. I'll be sure to send word ahead to have your normal rooms prepared in the palace. That's that, and yes, and you hear people what? Days. Quiet you! This is a royal. They're coming here to meet with the king and queen. And the guards go back to keeping the refugees out, and the little gnome woman's like, "Come on, hurry it up! You gotta get in!" And lets you enter the city. And as you walk through the threshold, you walk down a long, natural wooden tunnel where the archways are interwoven, or intricate, woven carvings of branches in patterns of varying complexity. And as you exit the tunnel, you look out and up into the main trunk of this tree as it comes alive before you. This is not a place that's been suffering. This is a place that has been thriving, and it doesn't seem to be affected by anything outside of its walls. There are lifts going all up, stopping, but they're not connected to anything other than where they touch the tree itself. There are buildings that seem to be carved of tree but have no signs of being carved. And there's a large winding staircase that continues up. There are levels and platforms of varying sizes as it continues up the tree, the ever tree. And that is where we will end for tonight. With you entering the capital of Olathe. So
Yay.
I'd like to...
One page left.
Oh, buzzer
One more
beater.
page. One more. We have to keep going until she finishes the page.
No, I have to
I mean,
get
technically it's half an hour, but I don't want to get too far into the capital.
Win stuff.
Yes. So I'd like to say thank you so much for joining us tonight. And let's go ahead and start with our round of shout-outs. Kicking it off, as always, it's the Riddler.
It's the Riddler. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us, my wonderful little fireflies. Today, I want to talk to you about retribution. Because sometimes you can be forgiven for retribution and even rewarded for it. And if you ever find yourself lost in the dark, all you have to do is let me in. Follow me on Twitter at It's the Riddler. Bye, everyone.
I love it. I love it. All right. Rick.
Said I would write a script. I did not.
All right. We got episodes to come.
Hi, I'm really sleepy, but I do things and stuff on Twitter, sometimes TikTok, things on Fan House, and I usually hang out around here, just chilling and living. And yeah, so find me on all this stuff.
All right. Ladani.
Oh no, I'm in the middle of stuff. Hi.
Okay,
Ladani.
I'll come back.
It's
I'll
fine.
come
I'm going. Find me on the such. The places and the things. I don't know if I'm being loud because I've been told I've been very quiet this whole time. Me and this mic do not get along. I'll go watch everyone else's stuff. That's all I got.
Okay. Kayola. Oh no, we have Raiders. Hi, Raiders.
Welcome to the shoutouts.
I'm so sorry, we are just finishing up.
Rip. Yeah, I am Kyola Cosplay. Welcome, Raiders, to the shoutout section of our show. I'm on Twitter. I am on Instagram and doing jack shit with it. Catch me here.
All right. We were so sad that Jess couldn't join us tonight. She is Dr. Psych Owl on the Things and Places, and you can find her on the Things and Places as Dr. Psych Owl, except for Twitter, where she's Dr. Psych Owl TV, and she is hashtag can't believe it's not bitter about it. Shield Maiden.
It's my turn. All right. Hello, I'm Natalie, Shield Maiden, or Shield Maiden cosplay across all platforms with Shield with 2 eyes. You can also find me on Instagram at delman.arts, where I post my artwork and pottery and things like that. Yeah, and then I'm here all the time. Come back on Monday for Laurelwind.
Yes. And I have been your DM for the night, crafting things out of my very not full brain. Definitely stick around to join us on Monday. But you can find me as Princess Lady Bro on the Stuff and Things. The only thing I have coming up is MegaCon. So I'm very excited for that. It's going to be lots of fun. Boss, what are we doing?
Oh, if I get this right, we are raiding Long Lost Lore, who looks like they're doing some fun horror, actually. So yeah, heads up. There is content warning for intense horror scenarios.
Okay.
Yeah. But thank you, Raiders.
All right, hell yeah.
Yes, thank you, Raiders. Please join us again on Monday and next Thursday for Cow Pals and May 13th. It's Friday the 13th. It's gonna be great. Have a great night, everybody.
Right.
Wrong one.
Oh.
I'll get this. It's okay.
Yeah.